Hey guys, welcome back. So today's video is going to be a one-run tutorial featuring all NYX products. I'd love to do these with drugstore brands whenever I can. Obviously I already have half of my face done to speed things up. I don't know how long I'll have a sleeping baby, so I wanted to take advantage of the time. I do not have a NYX foundation or concealer or primer. I have tried NYX foundations and the Stay Matte Not Flat powder, and I've tried the NYX Angel Veil, I think it's called, primer. And I wasn't too impressed, so I haven't repurchased them. When they expired, I just got rid of them. But for concealer, I do have a clip of me applying the NYX HD concealer, and this is their photogenic, high definition, mineral enriched, formulated without talc and parabens concealer in the shade Lavender. So I applied this under my eyes. It's extremely brightening, and then I applied the Dermacol foundation. I have done a review on that, so if it isn't up yet, it will be soon. And then I primed my eyes using I put all of my NYX products in one bin just to make things easier. I primed my eyes using the NYX Glitter Primer, and I like this product. I don't think that today it did too well for me, honestly, because I have glitter on my cheek. On the eye that I've completed, that cheek has glitter on it, so I'm not sure that it help, but I don't know how badly, the glitter transferred to my cheeks would have been if I hadn't used a glitter primer. So can't say for sure that it's not functioning. And then I'm just going to let that kind of set. Right now it's really tacky. I might use another coat of that if it's set too much, but now I'm using the HD finishing powder. This is in the shade Banana. Anything now that I'm talking about is NYX, so just assume it's NYX. I'm just setting my under eye concealer, a little bit on my foundation. It is kind of a glowy one. I like this Banana powder. I think it does a pretty good job of setting everything. So if you're looking for a good drugstore powder, this is the mini size, but they do sell a full size as well. Pretty affordable. And then, well, the lip combo I chose today is, I know I'm all over the place, is kind of a strange one how I got there, but I used this retractable lip liner in the shade Nude Pink first, and that's kind of, the inspiration was the blush I used today, which is kind of coral. My mirror is right here, so if you're wondering what I'm looking at. So this liner is kind of a corally nude. It says nude, but I don't think that's a nude. And then the lipstick, I'm lining and filling them in. The lipstick I chose completely changed the lip color, and I was like, no, I don't like that. I thought it was going to be a different color, so rather than wipe it off, I ended up kind of counteracting the shade, so I'll show you what I mean. So the lipstick I'm using is the NYX High Voltage lipstick. They do make new ones of these that aren't called High Voltage, but they're the same lipsticks. I don't know why they changed the name. But this is in Flutter Kiss. I added that on top, and it completely changed the shade to mauve, more gray pink. I was like, no, I want coral. So then I went with something orange to counteract the gray pink. So the way I got there, not necessary. You could have totally just used a liner and a clear lip gloss and gotten the same look, but this is the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Cherry Cheesecake, which is basically straight up orange. But I added just a little bit of that on top. Mix it all together. Now I have the lip color that I meant to wear. So like I said, it took me a while to get there, but I got there. For cheeks, I'm using this palette. It is the Wanderlust, the go-to palette, and it has a bronzer, blush, and highlighter and 6 eyeshadows. Just using the bronzer and the blush on a fluffy brush, and this is pretty pigmented. I'm going to be using that on the cheeks, and it does kind of make a streaky look, but it blends out nicely. I got a little worried, a little scared when the first stroke with this is all new to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is awful. How am I going to fix this? But when I started blending, it actually blended out nicely, so don't worry about it. I'm just putting whatever's left on the brush down the chin. Tiniest bit on the side of the nose. And up on the hairline. Using the e.l.f. blush brush and the peachy blush in here. And I had to really layer up this blush to get any color. It didn't go on very strong. So that's okay. Actually, that's maybe better in my opinion. I don't like my blushes very pigmented because I have a heavy hand and I know it, so that's alright. This is a clean brush. I'm just making sure everything's blended. This brush is the one I use for my powder, so it's clean-ish. It's not going to add any more color is what I meant. Okay, for highlighter, I'm not going to use the one that came in this palette. I'm actually done with that palette. I'm using the NYX Illuminator. This is in the shade Enigmatic, and it's a highlight, but for very fair skins this wouldn't work. It's like a pinky peachy color, if you can tell, like when I angle it like this. It is lighter than my skin, but it's got pigment to it. So I'm putting that with the e.l.f. small taper brush right at the top of the cheekbone. And I think it actually makes it like, it matches the blush that I used. And then I'm taking a little bit of that right on the tip of the nose, down the center of the nose. Alright, cheeks are done. Using the NYX Micro Brow Pencil in the shade Taupe. And I choose Taupe because it is light, but I like my brows to be a little bit lighter. And then I'm going to use a second product on top that'll darken them up a little bit. I'm just using really small strokes to mimic brow hairs to fill in my brows. I do have a few sparse areas, so just brushing them out with the spoolie on the other end. This is one of my favorite brow pencils ever. So if you're looking for, I won't call it an exact dupe for the Anastasia one. I actually think they're different, but this one's better in my opinion. I'm using the NYX Tinted Brow Mascara in the shade Brunette. And this is a really good product as well for brows. I think NYX really nails it on brow products. Their clear brow gel is really good. The Control Freak one. Their brow pomade is good. The tinted brow mascara, the micro brows. NYX has some really good brow products. It doesn't matter which formula you like for your own personal preference. It's really good. Alright, so I'm using the Lid Lingerie palette, and it has 6 matte shadows. I'm going to be using 4 of them. So on just a fluffy brush, I'm using the tannish shade and the lavendery shade, just because they're light. And I'm using those in the crease and slightly above the crease as a transition shade, just doing windshield wiper motions back and forth. And this is kind of the shadow that's going to peek out from behind the rest of the eye look. It's not meant to be a star on its own, but I will set this brush aside and come back to it later. And then I'm just using a different brush. This one is the Makeup Geek Define Crease Brush. I'm using the bone color, like the off-white, as my brow bone and inner corner shade for the day. And then I'll set this aside. I may touch it up later. I always like to keep my options open, so I set those clean brushes aside. Because I could take those same brushes and then now dip them into the dark colors I want to use. But then that brush is dirty, so if I want to use white on my brow bone again, I can't, because I have to use a new brush. So I just use new brushes in the beginning. Okay, so for the lid, this is kind of a fun one. This is the NYX Ultra Pearl Mania. It is a little bottle of a loose pigment, and this is in the shade Charcoal. And I actually grabbed it and thought that it was green today, and I was excited because I'm wearing green in my headband and green in my shirt. I was like, oh cool, this is going to be great. And then I poured it out of my hand and it was gray. I was like, oh. But I remembered I had a different product by NYX that I could totally use to change it. So this is a flat brush. This is a Sigma Eye Shading Brush E55. And I'm just tapping this on the center of the lid. Blew off the brush a little bit. I'm not using this all over the lid, just on the center. It's going to be a halo eye where this pops out from the center of the eye look. This kind of like makes an appearance but isn't, you know, that's the green shade in the center of the lid, but it's not everywhere. Alright, so I'm setting that brush aside. Then I'm going in with the Face and Body Glitter, and I have mine in the shade GLI 07. I don't remember what this one's called. Oh, Ice. So when I bought this, another product NYX kind of led me astray, I thought this was a white glitter, and I was like, you know, it's called Ice and it's white. Well, when you use it, you realize it's actually a white with like green reflex. And so it wasn't exactly what I was looking for at that moment, but I found a way to make it work. So when I poured it out of my hand, it is white, right? Hope you can see that. but when I pack it on my brush, you'll see it's green. You're like, what? So when you put this green, whitish green glitter on top of the gray, it does give me the green that I was looking for. It's really pretty. Okay, so I'm setting that aside. Now I'm going back into the Lid Lingerie palette, and I'm using the dark brown matte shade, and that's what I'm using all around the green glitter. So this is kind of like sandwiching. I'm making a halo, like an arc, all around, including the inner side. That's what makes this a halo eye and not just like the lid being light, is because the center is the bright color. And then the trick here is you've got to make sure you blend in the green with the brown. So you can't just make it like brown, green, brown. It's got to be blended in so that it looks, I don't want to say natural because clearly green glitter is not natural, but something like that. A little bit more professional. How about that? Okay, so obviously I need to blend out the edges of this shadow, so I'm using the original brush we used for the eyes, the one I have my transition shade on. I'm just kind of blending, blending, blending. Then I'm going back into that brown since I overdid it a little bit. And I just do this again and again until I have it the way I want it. So originally I was attempting to use this black liner. This is the NYX Collection Noir Liquid Black Liner, and obviously it's in black. And I pulled it out, I did a line, and I realized this is so dry. So this is actually going in my empties video. But for the sake of consistency, I'm going to go ahead and do a little line like I did on the first eye, just to make sure that they look the same. But yeah, this is a goner, so bye-bye. So then I started like opening my mind up to different greens, and I actually came up with this one. I was like, oh, I forgot I had that. This is the NYX Glam Liner Aqualux Waterproof Liner, and it is in the shade Glam Lagoon. It's a greenish color. So I did that instead of black, and I actually think this made it more fun. I added that. The green on the lid doesn't look green like at all. It's like a backseat rather than the star of the show, but I really think this is fun, and it changes the look completely, but I think it like ties into the green earrings and everything. So I really recommend these glam liners if you haven't tried them. They make them in a lot of colors. I hope they haven't been discontinued since I bought that, but they're really cool. Alright, and then I went in with the NYX Wonder Pencil in the shade Light, and it is a nude pencil. I use that in the waterline just to brighten. I'm not going to do a smoky under eye since the upper eye is so intense with liner. I don't want to like drag it down by using like a brown or black in the waterline. So I just use nude, which really opens up the eye. And I don't have a NYX mascara, so I'm using the Essence I Love Extreme Crazy Volume Mascara, or the I Heart Extreme, or I Love Extreme. Sorry, I'm just getting comfortable. Alright, so this is the finished look aside from the NYX Dewy Finish Setting Spray, which I love. They also make a matte one if you like a matte look. But I love this. The sprayer does spray out quite a bit of product, so if you don't like a heavy mist, you might not like that product, but it's really good. So standouts from the line for me, definitely the NYX Lid Lingerie. This was the second time I've used it, and the product just really does a nice job. Like the brow bone shade shows up even though it's like an off-white. That's kind of a hard shade. The dark brown is really nice, really blendable. The transition shades, I think I'll be using those a lot. Whether I'm using the rest of my NYX products or not, I think it's really good. But by far my favorite product from NYX are their brow products. The brow products from NYX are insane. Like battle Anastasia Beverly Hills for sure, in my opinion. So they also make really good lip liners. The retractable lip liners are really good. I'm not a lip liner snob though. Like I feel like most of them are okay for me. But theirs are retractable. You don't have to sharpen them. They're really creamy, and you can use them on their own with a gloss, and they look so good and last a long time. They feel very comfortable on the lips. But yeah, the powders here are very good. I also bought the Cosmic Metals palette, so I'm going to try that soon. But today I wanted to go green, so that's why I did the pigments. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this one brand tutorial. Let me know what other brands you want to see next. I'm going to be doing an Essence One Brand tutorial and L'Oreal coming up, but if you have any other ideas, please leave them in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye.